Blue Lock, chapter 310, title Just Quit Already. The panel shows Nagi and Igarashi walking down the street, and it says, Igarashi appeared when Nagi didn't know which path to take. What will the two who were rejected by Blue Lock talk about? Igarashi says that he looked up here Nagi's school and went there trying to find it, but he was treated like a creep. I mean, obviously, but yeah. Then he finally found one of Nagi's classmates who told Igarashi that he would probably be at the arcade, and he found Nagi there. So Nagi asked Igarashi now if he really is a creep. Igarashi says he totally wasn't, and he just came to see me. And they finally walk to a park nearby, where with a sad look, Nagi asks what does Igarashi want. Igarashi asks Nagi what is Nagi going to do about soccer. Nagi says he hasn't decided yet. Igarashi says, thought so. I figured you would be like that. And Nagi asks, is he a know-it-all now? Igarashi says that no, he doesn't understand, and he actually came here to tell Nagi to keep playing soccer. Igarashi says that this is not the same as Isagi asking Nagi to keep playing soccer. Well, it is more of a selfish ego from when both were eliminated together. Igarashi asks Nagi, the moment when the final bit was revealed, what did Nagi feel? Nagi explains that he actually didn't feel much, but it actually made sense to him. Igarashi said he actually felt frustrated, but happy. He explains that his dream of coming to Blue Lock was just to go pro in soccer so that he doesn't have to inherit his family's temple. And he actually made his dream come true. To borrow Ego's words, I was fulfilled by that. Igarashi asked Nagi, what about you? Was he fulfilled with what happened? Nagi explains that nothing was fulfilled and he just has to walk away from some things in life that are sometimes unfulfilled. Igarashi says, like hell there is no such thing as a limit to a dream. All there is to a dream is just how big your vessel is. Igarashi explains how his dream was to go pro and he was willing to stake everything on his life to go pro in soccer. Igarashi, with a smirk on his face, says to Nagi, quit sulking, genius. There is no such thing as a dream you can't have in this world. Igarashi then starts laughing and says he's proud of what he has just said. And Nagi then starts explaining about the Buratsuta 3 and says that he got invited to the Buratsuta 3 as to play for the U20 team. Igarashi was surprised that he actually got the offer and Igarashi was never invited. Nagi then says he actually turned down the offer and Igarashi becomes angry at this time. Nagi says that he actually doesn't want to betray Blue Lock by joining them and trying to go against what ego stands for. Igarashi then says that it's actually Nagi that betrayed Blue Lock. He said that he lost because he made the final pass, which is completely opposite to what ego stands for and what whole Blue Lock program was. And in this panel, Igarashi actually looks more similar to Isagi with that serious look and the veins popping out. He says the more Nagi talks, the more pissed off he gets. Nagi asks Igarashi what would the others think and what would he think if he returned to Blue Lock as one of Borutsura's 3. Igarashi explains that would be pathetic for him to think that others' opinion matters. And is his dream so weak enough that it would be influenced what others think for him to do whatever it takes to achieve his dream. Nagi asks if Igarashi is trying to pick a fight with him. Igarashi says yes, and 10 times over. Igarashi says that he went against his parents and went following his dreams. He joined Blue Lock, he left his home, and if he had lost in Blue Lock, he would have to work in his temple his whole life. He put his whole life on the line for the Blue Lock program. He shouts, saying human can only be fulfilled if despair and hope are both equal on the scale. Igarashi also says that Nagi doesn't even understand what he actually wants and he is lost because he didn't even think about what would happen if he couldn't actually chase after his dreams. Igarashi, with an angry look on his face, pulls Nagi's collar and says if only he had Nagi's talent, he would become the best in the world. He would do everything, even if he looked lame, even if he looked hurt, he would still aim to be the number one. And he says, then later he says sorry, and it is none of his business to stick a nose in Nagi's life or decisions. Nagi says thank you to Igarashi for his words and says he is a good monk. Okay, no, that was funny. Igarashi, with a surprised look, says he will become a soccer player. There is no way he's going to become a monk. And he says their conversation isn't over and King, where is Nagi walking off to? Nagi says it's enough and meet you next time. With an amazing panel saying Nagi got fired up. And at the end of the panel it says, an old friend lets up the ego within Nagi's heart. The reignited genius won't end here. And there is only 2 days till the U20 World Cup begins. That means we are obviously not going to get a training arc, but I'm hoping they would at least show flashbacks of how the training took place with ego and how would Nagi would return to all of this. My thoughts on this chapter are pretty decent. We got to see Igarashi on a new light, and many people who hated him might actually find him decent right now. And gladly there is no break next week, so we would only have to wait 7 more days for the next chapter. And I hope the chapter takes a bit more pace and shows us what is happening in Blue Lock. But yeah, let's see. And I really want to know who the Buratsuta 3 would be. Drop a comment down below who you think who would be the Buratsuta 3. And I'm actually planning to make weekly videos of Blue Lock reviews. And thank you for watching this video. And if you are a One Piece fan, please look into this video where I talk about Kuma's backstory. And also, please like and subscribe. See you next time.